Hello there. I have assembled a prototype of the platform. And I have also assembled a quick little prototype for the platform. It is currently hooked up. It is currently fully mobile. I could walk downstairs and this would still be updating, which is pretty sick. And it's very fast as well. Really fast. So let's jump through the code real quick. What do we have? First of all, let's move to there. First of all, we have some stuff for over there updates, which is handy. I could literally upload the code right now. Code related to the ESP. This should really be gone because that ain't needed. Yeah, we have some calibration value, which is just the edge trigger value, or well, it's used as an edge, but in reality it's just mid trigger. So yeah, make of your will with that. Currently set to 300, but in reality it's going to look for 600 because of reasons. We'll get to it. I have some defines, so we can have quick graph mode that streams the data over UDP continuously. Then we have BPM mode, which is just once every heartbeat it sends a ping again over UDP. And attached to that ping is, well, it kind of looks like this. It's just a little rotating symbol, and then the actual calculated BPM. And also this, all of this data has been logged to a file, and I actually have it somewhere. Let's find the really. What did I even call the project? Yeah, live. Here it is. 1.38 megabytes of CSV, I guess. It still needs processing. Why am I doing this? Why? No. Yeah, there we go. So this is quite a few heartbeats that we have logged. We'll graph that later. No problem. Quite a bit of heartbeats. It kind of gives you a perspective on how quick life is in a way, because on average most animals are allotted 100 billion. Either it's 1 billion or 100 billion heartbeats in their lifetime. And if you go 63,000 of them in just, what is it, 9-10 hours? Or whatever this is, 12 hours maybe? Then, yeah, that's only like 200,000 12-hour shifts, which is 100,000 days. This got quite dark. 100,000 days. Yeah, something is off. You're not gonna live for 273 years. Okay. Yes, anyway. But yes. Let's continue here. BPM mode. BPM mode and graph mode are pretty much exclusive, even though you can have them both on at the same time. It's just you have to filter the UDP packets a bit. The BPM graph just adds more characters to this message so that it provides a slow-moving BPM graph. What do we have? We have a control variable in beat, which detects if you're currently experiencing a beat, because a beat might last for several read cycles, so I'm just accounting for that. We have a reference to the last heartbeat, so we can calculate our new BPM. And we have a slow BPM, which is not being used. And we have the UDP class, and then we have the rotating little thing here, which isn't really useful. It's more for visual. Here's a function, send heartbeat. It gets called whenever there's a heartbeat detected. So whenever there's a heartbeat detected, we get the current time, and we get the difference of that and the last time. And then we set the last time to the current time. That ensures that the last beat time is old and that we compare it with the new, and therefore we get a difference. If you switch this up, you would set it to the same and you would just get 0. So that's kind of important. And if you don't do this here, it won't work either, which I kind of did before. Yeah, then we calculate the actual BPM. And you're seeing this like, yeah, 60,000 over the differential in milliseconds. That kind of, Well, let's just go through it. The time difference we have is in milliseconds. So what we currently have is time per beat. But we want to invert it and get beat per time. So you do 1 over the diff. But this now represents beats per millisecond. So let's get it up to a second. So this is beats per second. And then just replace that 1 with 60 for 60 seconds. And there we go. $60,000 over the differential in milliseconds equals the beats per minute. And then we do some sanity checks and make sure it's over 20 and less than 210, because false actuations might happen. And if that's the case, we actually blink the LED, we do some stuff, and depending on if BPM mode is activated, which it is right now, we broadcast, basically, and we print the rotating little thing, and we print a space, and then we print the calculated BPM, and that's not it. If the BPM graph is activated, then we add as many spaces as we have BPMs over 2, which kind of makes a flipped over vertical falling waterfall graph, I guess. And then we add a hashtag at the end so we can actually see how many spaces that were put in there. I guess. Or you could say you're just spacing this hashtag out by the BPM. And then we end the packet, and then we set the LED back off again. So at every heartbeat, LED blinks, and the UDP packet gets sent. Speaking of, let's actually get the unit out here. Excuse the crudeness of the model. I didn't have time to make it to scale or to paint it. But let's have a look here. There you have the LED blinking away. And here you have the thingy blinking as well on my computer. That's good. Yeah, that's not much lag at all. It's quite acceptable, I'd say. Wait, let's... How do I even... I guess I could... Yeah. And then... Yeah. So as you see, there's not much lag in this little system at all. But yes, given that this even exists, it means I actually did align my printer, and I did manage to print this, although it did take quite a few attempts. Yeah. Like this being up here, blinking away like this, it kind of reminds me of the trace tracker from Uplink. Tick. Yes, stream, perfect. I was like, wait, recording? That's wrong. Also, spare my bandwidth. Also, yes, as you can see, these tabs indicate how much trouble I've had so far. But yes, so that's the actual when it detects. So how does it detect? Well, prepare to be like, actually, full disclaimer. This is all test code. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. I'm just testing. I have no idea what I'm doing. But hey, all good science is made when you don't know what you're doing. Something I butchered that to hell. But yes, what do we do? Every so regularly in our do timer function, which gets called from the loop, we read our analog. And from there, we negate that from our old value, which is negative, which is, well, this is the same process as up here, getting the difference between beats. Here we're getting the difference between the currently read value, which is new value, and old read value. Now, what is old read value? Old read value is, it's going to be equal to another old read value, but later. And old read value 2 is going to be old read value 3, but later. So this right here could easily be replaced by a small array. I'm fully aware of that, but it's just testing. I'm just testing if spacing out the differential, like a few samples apart, makes it any more stable or something like that. I have no idea. Again, testing. Let's check. Yes. And then fast graph mode. That, yeah, because it's because this is in the same function where we read. For every read we do, we're gonna do a UDP packet if we have graph mode enabled, which is absolutely gonna flood the network. And again, it's kind of the same deal with spaces depending on the ultimately calculated value, which is here. And the important thing with this value is that basically what the difference between two set points can be mathematically defined as an integral. So this difference here is centered on 0, even though the numbers returned by millis is maybe in the millions or thousands, or maybe even more. This is always, the difference here is always going to be centered on 0. If time goes forward, it's going to be slightly positive. If time goes backwards, which is not going to happen unless it rolls over, it's going to be slightly negative or massively negative if it overflows. But and the same is true down here for our voltage reading. We effectively integrate it mathematically, even though I'm like just testing here and splitting things out of it. I mean, technically, you could take this old read value equals that, and then comment out that, and you have exactly the same meaning code as we had up here for the difference in time. The only thing these three lines do are acting as a little buffer of samples. So it's not comparing to the most previous analog reading. It's comparing to a few behind. Yeah, let's use some testing code that shouldn't be there probably. But yes, that ends up, these three, or this bunch of line, however you want to see it, is in the end an integral, which means it's going to be centered on 0, which gives us to the detection, which is freaking simple, if you ask me. Like, we do some simple checks on it. It's a if-else statement. It's a if-else-if statement, but it's very simple. What we do check if the integral, which is centered on 0, is higher than some random calibration value. And we check that we're not currently in the heartbeat. If that's the case, well, we've just entered the heartbeat. And then we call that function before, send heartbeat, which actually does the LED flashing. If that's not the case, then we check if it's lower than oh wow, I have that set up kind of backwards. That should be that. Interesting. And that shouldn't exist. This is test code, because I was having trouble with this earlier. I just wanted to get it sort of working. Today we're gonna faff about with it. Yeah. In theory, it should work like this. If we're over some calibration value and we're not in a beat, we're going to enter the heartbeat and notify ourselves for future reference that we are in a heartbeat. That will make it so that this part here is only called once per heartbeat. Make sense? Yes. Now we need a way to get out of that lock because we effectively activate a lock here. Once you get in here, you can't get in here anymore. Which means we need to set inbeat to equals false at some point, which we do preferably actually wait, I should change this all around. I should have the value be absolute, because the code right here assumes you're perfectly still. It assumes the integral is actually perfect, which is not going to be when it's in this mobile form. So, but yes, I can continue the explanation. Ignore this. So, either if we're already in the heartbeat, or if we're not in the condition to meet a heartbeat, then we jump over and check if we are at the negative equivalent, which means the heartbeat is about to end. And we also check that then we also check in beat, but inverted this time. So we check that we're actually in the beat instead of outside the beat. And if that's the case, we set in beat back to false. So it's kind of a latching system here that I have set up right now. However, that should be gone, because actually not that much be gone. It should be changed. So because the integral is not perfect, we need to basically, what I've observed on the flowing graph is that you usually get a positive pulse and a negative pulse, as the one stated here, as set up in the previous video. However, because you're sometimes just contracting random muscles or just motion artifacts in general, they tend to move the input analog reading value at a steady rate, sort of steady rate, and sometimes it can nullify either the start pulse or the negative pulse. So sometimes you only get one pulse in one direction. It's a bit weird, but I'm gonna try to account for that as we mess around with this today. So, first of all, let's bring all the values of value into a positive range with the absolute. From there, let's check if value is over some calibration value. I mean, the code down here is kind of the one that would fit-ish. So yeah, essentially what I had before, but something more like that. So the 0.9 here is the actual Schmidt trigger at this point, and the calibration value here is now just some arbitrary offset, really, that decides how strong the heartbeat pulse needs to be. Given that this is practically the same, the only thing I'm adding is, well, making sure that those pulses can be detected by this first if, which should get it more reliable for motion artifacts. This right here shouldn't be an issue. 10% leniency on the activation should be, I don't know, but I'm guessing that it could or should be. I demand that it should be. I can demand all day, it's not going to if it doesn't want to. Let's remove all this because it's useless. Yeah, as you can see, we have a dumb software timer that isn't even accurate, because we are pretty much forced to have Wi-Fi and Arduino TA in the mix, but it actually seems fairly reliable, given that it's so unstable. But also, given that that I assume it's unstable, I've reduced it from, I think it was 20 milliseconds before per read, which should be the equivalent of being to catch 10 Hertz. Or it was, maybe it was 15 milliseconds. No, wait. It was 25 milliseconds, yes. Before I had it set to 25, I think, not sure. So I could catch just up to 10 Hertz. But then I realized that the transients are a bit more than 10 Hertz, and the clock here is a bit unreliable, so I pulled it down to 5, which does degrade the signal a bit, but it doesn't matter that much, given that this board here is really astonishing. I did have to modify this this 80, 23, 82, whatever thing number it's called. I had to file down the edges of it, but it sort of fits. It's good enough for a prototype one, and yeah, it works. What haven't we gone through? Setup, basic stuff. Yep. Let's upload this. Yoink. That I think is cool with this, just completely mobile. Come on, connect to Wi-Fi. There we go. Yeah, it still works. Nice. So the code I had on here was not too far off from what I wanted in the end. All I needed to add was the absolute. Oh well. Oh, maybe I should do that before that. I just realized that absolute will make 2 peaks, which might make it double register. Excuse me while I'm gonna need to print the data that I receive, all of it, and I'm gonna have to change the firmware to be graph mode, yes, not BPM mode, and it doesn't matter if graph mode is still enabled, it will still be disabled because it's in the if-def with BPM mode. Should be fine. Yep, there, upload. Oh wow, that's that LED is weak now. I convert string to float. Oof. Here, have a try. Don't care about the consequences. Oh, fat. There we go. So, here's the graph. What the F. Why? Huh. Why is it so stable? Yesterday there was a bunch of noise on this signal. Now there's no noise at all. M. Print a string of that, please. Also, you will work if I do that, yes. Wrong. I thought I made you a string. Go ahead. Decode? Is it a function of the thing? Ugh. Fucking Python 3 and its bytes. Makes no sense. Oh yeah, makes sense. Yes. Yeah, for each space, it's 50 units. So what if we... $50, $100, $150, $200, $250, $300, $350, $400. Yeah, there are two peaks here. Oh. You know what? It probably does register 2 beats every beat, but this safeguard here saves us, because beats that close together would be about 210 presumably. So I don't really need to do anything then. It's working, basically. Let me change that loud back. So nice when you actually set up proper device. Yeah, how about uploading? It dimmed. There we go. So that's what it usually outputs. The rotating little thing I talked about earlier, just for visual. Calculate the BPM and then that as a graph. Very nice. It's a waterfall graph, but it works. Yeah, why... Oh, I guess I upload that. Yes, that would make sense. Okay. There we go. I guess I could have this running like this. I guess I could also dump to a file. You have sys, very nice. Sys! Where is it? There. Sys.stdr.write. This is a cheap trick. Basically, what should one say? Basically, you actually, I'll keep it like the first one I did. Script. However, there needs to be. Come on. Oh shit. Getting messy here. We're gonna need time as a string. We're gonna add a comma to that, and then the data up to the 10th, and then split off the characters. We should just be left with the spinner and the actual BPM, just like in here. So we should get a timestamp, the spinner, and the data. I don't know what we can add the spinner for, but I guess it's good extra validation data. So let's see how. Hey, standard error. Where did you go? So can I like let's do that. Oh yeah, maybe I should flush. Oh yeah, maybe I should add the new line. Yeah, there it is. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's outputting both lines twice. Why would I do that? Well, yeah. Wait, I kind of want the error to just have the data as is. hold on while I decode this one more time. Okay. So yeah, that outputs two different lines. The first line here is our standard error. To make sure I'm not bullshitting you, I am bullshitting you. So the first line, no, wait, I'm confused. Okay, so the stripped down line is the one printed to standard output. So this here, this line here, which is in between this weird graph, that's the standard output, yes. Now the standard output, we can redirect that to a file. So this will be put into a file. Also, why is this? So parallel time string. What? Okay. Okay. I don't know why I'm getting more decimals, but yes. Oh wow. Interesting. Yeah, we're getting a lot of decimals there. That's handy, I guess. And then we get the comma, and then the rotating thing. So it's essentially the same format as this other beta. So we can parse them both with the same program. Word. And yes, then we have the other line, the one with actual graph. That's standard error. Now, standard error by default is always put onto the screen, even if you redirect standard output. So what we can do is do this, and what we will get is well, what I just did is pi the script, and then what is that, greater than, less than? I don't think I remember. Greater than, yes, greater than, and then a file name. So what we're now seeing here is standard error, and the file that we have here, it's currently empty, but if you come back in here in 5 minutes, it's gonna have flushed, and we're actually gonna see a bunch of lines in here. Yeah, that means I'm now logging it and displaying it in multiple ways at the same time, which is really nice. The thing is, these kind of jumps that happen here, those actually are real. Those are not misreadings. I have no idea why my heart does that. Like, for some reason, sometimes it just drops by in half, essentially. It's kind of scary. Do I have a heart condition or something? What is this? Is this normal behavior for a heart? To just be like, nah, fuck your line continuity. Fuck your graph continuity. My heart is mocking me. Or it's actually like dying. Or something. Well, given that it's half, yeah, it's basically half. So I actually miss a beat, and then it works its way up to the same frequency again. Why? Dear heart, stop fucking with my graph continuity. Dear brain. But yes, I guess I could talk a little bit about this unit itself. It's highly prototype, yes. The case is theoretically too small. Actually, let me switch over here. Wow. So, I still haven't drilled out a charging hole with a drill. Still haven't done that. I still don't have a top case, and I still don't have a bottom case. And the circuitry sticks up. But it's a functioning prototype that you can actually have in your pocket without risking major damage. Which actually allows this to be actually somewhat portable. Like, it's put in the pocket. Like, sure, you have to have some care. But as soon as you as long as you make sure you get it in there, like, correctly, so that the board is not like being pushed around, and that the actual case is resting in the pocket instead of the board, you're fine. Let's see how many erroneous readings I got. Oh yeah, quite a bit. Those are erroneous readings. That is not. Yeah. Anyway. Oh wait, does marking there fuck up the timing? It probably does, because yeah, it probably does. Yeah, this dump 2.1 now is broken. But yeah, here you can see it actually getting it's the same data, but here we strip off the graph and add a timestamp. Well, there's a timestamp. Oh, there's no timestamp there. Anyway. So yeah, we add a timestamp. Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to break that. Let's work on that. Delete it and restart it, and make sure to not interfere with it, basically. Yeah. Nice. Okay, still responsive as I move it around, good to know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of oh wait. Yeah, I should take more attention to my OBS. Indeed. But yeah, when I was square select. I've never seen that before, to be honest. It's a weird little gem to find. What did I even talk about? Yes. This. Because selecting things in the Windows command prompt pauses the program for some reason. That probably paused it too. The time that it notes down in this file here is going to be off if I actually interrupt it, because it actually gets the time as it writes it, not as it receives it, because I'm lazy. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, let's see what we can do here. Why are you not on top? Yes, good. Good little box. Okay, so Windows still has priority over it. Understandable. But not other programs. Okay, so this is basically on top. Oh yeah, I was gonna add a setting for that. I might as well do that now. Yes, I did add it on top. Let's if on top. That's not how you if. That's how you if. And tab and you're done. Oh, and I selected it. Look who's gonna make a file. So, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna like try to play some games or something and see what the graphs here and stuff will look like. First of all, let's add it though. I should probably clean this up, but yeah. Oh, well, look at that. Could I like rotate? There you go. Here's a shitty graph. You shall point that down like so. Oh god, it's barely visible. Who cares? Let's add. Oh god. Yep, there it is. Can I scale? Oh yes, I can scale this up to hell. Oh god. Yes. Let's be careful with that. Just stacking sources here. Don't like me. There you go. That's better. Damn you, Windows. Does this? No. Because Windows. Oh. Love it. Let's play some, yeah, Stepmania. That was a while ago. Let's see what this, oh wait, no, this, I'm gonna have to tilt the screen. God damn it. Oh god, shit. Display settings. Oh no, I'm too slow. No. Portrait. Keep. Oh god. I have to put this up against the wall. Also, you can see how mobile it is. I can just stand up. Like, what? Probably, yeah, one false reading. Good enough. Good enough. Yes, let me fix basically everything. Hi, willkommen to Vertical Land. There. No. What is this? Oh god. Yeah, how do source management time? Yeah, let's restart that game. It went a bit loose. Here we go. Yeah, now I can probably add it properly. Which means game capture. That's Stepmania. That will remind me to remove it because it's going to be annoying to look at. Fool yourself. Yes, yes. Great blaring thing. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. How big is this gonna get if I... Yeah, that's quite large. How big is this gonna get? Oh god. Wait. This is the worst setup ever, but I like it. Let's go. Let's go. Did you hear that? You're not hearing anything. Why do you always do this to me, OBS? Why do you always do this to me, OBS? That's not default. OBS, really? Wait. Oh. I thought it was on my mic at first. I was like, what the... Yeah, this is set it manually. There you go. Yeah, sorry for the massive ear rape right there. Also, I'm gonna... off that so that so that the thing isn't so what do we call it? The docking thing isn't so annoying. But how about that? Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll try it. It's been a while. So let's see how good I still am at this game. Fine. Wait. Yes. There we go. Let's yes. Whoa. Maybe I should adjust the graph. It's kind of comical. Let's continue. Actually, wait. Where is what? There. I wanna spice it up. Sure, whatever that is. I can't even read what the hell it's gonna do. Hey, my hands are already sweaty. This is going perfect. Okay, that's awful. That's awful. Sure, let's try again. Well, roll. Sure, roll. Whatever roll is. Ah. I can barely see them. Ah, fuck you, game. Woo! Maybe I should like minimize Discord so I'm not OBS, so I'm not constantly reminded of the heartbeat thing. Oh, it's been a while. It's been a long while. Which one is the good one? Who knows? Oh no. I forgot the... Okay. And that's Quasar. Makes your hand go a bit and a bit. Ow. Oh well. Oh, this. 5 minutes? Sure. Wait. 80% or 56%? Oh wait, no. I'm not doing the flip. The roll. I can maybe try twirl, whatever that is. As long as I can still see the thingy, the arrows, yes. That's no. So which is the other one? What does this say? Bun? Bun? Bum? We'll test it. It's apparently gonna give us a bun. Bounce. Yeah, that's... This is horrible. Yeah, that's fucked me up. Sorry. Yeah. I'd rather play drunk. Tornado. What's tornado? Oh wait, I think I know what tornado is. It's horrible. Wait, is Dizzy the one I think I want? Is it? Yeah, it is. However, let's try that again while I'm not moving the mouse. And again, I entered the options for no discernible reason. Something dark or hidden receptors. Nope. No, thank you. Up. The right leg electrode isn't, I didn't put it on the best. So it's coming off. I didn't put up my camera the best too either. Oh god. Everything's falling apart. Everything's falling apart. Why is the graph frozen? Hey. Wow. Yes. Let's try this. Why you do that to me, Ice? Oh no, there's hair in my eyes. Keyboard, stop sliding around. Keyboard, I swear. We're about to die, boys! Or not. Nice. My hands are now jelly. However, there is one more thing we must pass before we can call this experiment complete, and that is boss machine. Let's go. And no, I'm not gonna do freaking dizzy. Let's align this keyboard. It's gonna slide in a wee bit. I swear. Thanks, brain. Why the fuck do you fuck up that timing for? What? Thanks, brain. I blame brain. Brain useless. Amazing as well. Okay, let's be fast. Maybe one more. Not that one. I can never clear this one. Almost. Ow! 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 What the hand? Are you of operational quality? The something is really painful. Like right here. But it's oh, ow. Okay. Ow. Something's wrong with my left arm. It's definitely not in optimal condition. I think I can finish the song. Joke. Yeah, let's finish that. Ow. Yes. Bummer. But yes. There are more videos to come on the biometrics platform. It's not even finished yet. And yeah. The thing you see right underneath my head right now, that little dot, that's a missed reading. It missed a beat there, so it's basically counting 2 beats as one. But yeah. Ow. It's acting weird. Hey, you see there, my heart rate just plummet again, and then work its way up. Why does my heart do that? And why is my arm, like, broken? Like, wait. I mean, I have full hand functionality, but it hurts down here. Like, whenever I... Yeah, I'm gonna go. This is pain. Yes, goodbye.